A body, when thrown with some initial velocity and then allowed to move under the action of gravity alone, is known as the projection. So, such motion is considered to be occurring simultaneously in two separate components, one along the x-axis and other in y-axis. So, let us learn the short tricks to solve the numericals related to this projectile.
I'm going to teach you an easy way to remember the formulas of motion under gravity in 2 dimension with the help of motion under gravity in 1 dimension. So here we are going to find out the height, range and time with respect to the motion under gravity in the 1 dimension. So what is motion under gravity in one direction? Object is thrown vertically upwards and then it comes down. So here the motion is only in the y-axis. Whereas the motion under the gravity in 2 dimension is an object is projected at an angle theta with a velocity v and it takes a projectile path like this. So here if you want to consider the initial velocity is 0 and the velocity along the y-axis is taken as u, and here the velocity is resolved into its components. So along y-axis the velocity is u sin theta and along x-axis the velocity is u cos theta, and here the ball comes down. It is getting accelerated due to the acceleration due to gravity, and as I told you, the projectile, the object is moving under the influence of the gravity, and here in along x direction the velocity is constant, so the acceleration is taken to be 0. So first let us consider find out the time of ascent and time of descent. So we know the formula v is equal to u plus at, and we know the initial velocity is 0 and the velocity we are going to take it as u. So now the time of ascent will be it is u by g, because the initial velocity is 0, and the same way the time of descent is also u by g. So the addition of these two will give the total time of flight, which is 2u by g. So now with the help of this formula, easily we can find out the time of flight here in this. So what is the time of flight? The total time taken for the projectile. So here the time is considered to be in the y-axis. So the time of flight will be equal to 2uy by g, where we know that the velocity along y direction is u sin theta. So just by substituting that we get the time of flight formula. So next let us find out the height. So the maximum height reached by an object during the projectile. So here in 1 dimension we know the formula v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So by this we can find out the height formula is h is equal to u square by 2g. So now using this formula, just move to the other side, take h. So h is also considered to be in the y-axis, so uy square by 2g. So uy is substituted as u sin theta, and the formula of height is u square sin square theta divided by 2 into g. So the next component we are going to find out is the range. So the range is the distance travelled during the time of flight. So for that also it is very easily found out using the equation of motion. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So since the range is the distance travelled, it is taken in the x direction. So the acceleration will be taken to be 0. So therefore, substituting the given in the formula, r is equal to 2u cos theta u sin theta divided by g. So r is equal to 2u square sin theta cos theta divided by g. And this is how easily we can find out, we can remember the formula for time of flight, height and the range. Now let us see a problem. A cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance of 100 meter. How much above a ground a cricketer throw the same ball? So now here the projectile, the distance traveled by the projectile is given to be 100 meter. So the maximum horizontal range will be theta can be considered to be 45 degree. So we know the range formula just now we derived, that is u square sine 2 theta divided by g, and if I substitute theta to be 45 then the answer is 1. So R max will be u square by g, which is given as 100 meter. Now what they have asked from the question is how much above the ground a cricketer throw the same ball. So now we have to find out the maximum height above the ground vertically upward. So now this is in one dimension. So what is the height we have derived? So h max is equal to u square by 2g, that is equal to, so we know that u square by g is 100 given. So that divided by 2 will be equal to 50 meter.